Many everyday items contain hidden chemicals. One such chemical is Di-2-ethylhexyl Phthalate, commonly known as DEHP. It is a synthetic compound used widely in plastics. Most people are unaware of its presence in the products they use daily. DEHP makes plastics softer and more flexible. This property is why it's called a plasticizer. Manufacturers add DEHP to various plastic materials, most notably polyvinyl chloride, PVC. Without plasticizers like DEHP, many PVC products would be rigid and brittle. The addition of DEHP enhances their durability and usability. This has made it a popular choice in numerous industries for many decades. The troubling aspect of DEHP is its ubiquity. It is not just in a few niche products, it is almost everywhere. From the packaging that protects our food to the medical devices used in hospitals, DEHP can be present. This widespread presence means that human exposure is not occasional but often continuous. We are surrounded by items that may be slowly releasing this chemical into our environment and consequently into our bodies. Therefore, gaining a clear understanding of DEHP is of paramount importance. This knowledge empowers us to recognize potential sources of exposure. By learning about DEHP, we can take meaningful steps to protect our health and the well-being of our planet. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. Di-2-ethylhexyl Phthalate, or DEHP, belongs to a family of chemicals called phthalates. DEHP is a specific type of phthalate known for its effectiveness as a plasticizer. Its chemical formula is C24H38O4, also known as dioctyl phthalate, DOP, or DEHP, BHP. DEHP typically appears as a colorless, oily liquid. It has very little to no odor. It dissolves well in oils and organic solvents but not in water. This is crucial for plastics manufacturing. It integrates smoothly with polymer resins. DEHP imparts flexibility and durability to plastics. It embeds between polymer chains, reducing intermolecular forces, allowing more movement, making materials like PVC soft, pliable, and resistant to breaking. DEHP's plasticizing capabilities and low cost led to its widespread use. This has raised concerns about its pervasive presence and associated risks. DEHP's versatility as a plasticizer means it has found its way into countless everyday items. One major area is food packaging materials. It can be present in plastic films, containers, and linings used for food and beverages. Because DEHP is not chemically bound to the plastic, it can migrate from the packaging into the food, especially with fatty foods or when heated. This migration represents a direct route of ingestion for consumers. Another critical area of DEHP use is in medical devices. Many items made from flexible PVC, such as intravenous, IV bags and tubing, blood bags, catheters, and dialysis equipment, contain DEHP. Patients, particularly those requiring long-term or intensive medical care, can experience higher levels of exposure. Children's products are also a significant source of DEHP exposure. Many soft plastic toys, teething rings, and even some childcare articles have historically contained DEHP to make them pliable and durable. The sheer number of products containing DEHP highlights how deeply embedded it is in modern life, making complete avoidance a challenging task for the average consumer. One of the most significant concerns regarding DEHP is its classification as an endocrine disrupting chemical, EDC. Endocrine disruptors are substances that can interfere with the body's hormone system. By mimicking or blocking natural hormones or by altering hormone production and transport, DEHP can disrupt these delicate processes. DEHP exposure has been strongly linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular diseases. Alarming research from 2018 indicated that DEHP exposure was associated with approximately 356,238 deaths globally in individuals aged 55 to 64. Beyond heart health, DEHP is also implicated in metabolic disorders such as obesity and type 2 diabetes. Studies suggest that exposure to DEHP may interfere with metabolic pathways, potentially altering fat storage and glucose regulation. Furthermore, DEHP exposure poses serious risks to reproductive health and development. It has been associated with infertility in both men and women, affecting sperm quality and ovarian function. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. Section 5. Beyond our bodies, DEHP's environmental footprint. DEHP is not chemically bonded to the plastic polymers it plasticizes. This loose association means that DEHP can easily leach, migrate, or off-gas from plastic products throughout their life cycle. This process occurs during manufacturing, use, and disposal of these products. Once released, DEHP can find its way into different environmental compartments. It can contaminate soil when DEHP-containing plastics are disposed of in landfills or through agricultural use of sewage sludge. It can enter water bodies through industrial wastewater discharges, runoff from contaminated sites, or leaching from plastic debris in rivers and oceans. DEHP can also be present in the air, particularly in indoor environments where many plastic products are used and can then settle in dust. Its limited water solubility and oily nature mean it tends to accumulate in sediments and organic matter, persisting for extended periods. Section 6. A world of difference: global disparities in DEHP exposure. The health burden associated with DEHP exposure is not evenly distributed across the globe. Data from 2018 revealed a stark reality. Approximately 75% of global DEHP-related deaths in the 55 to 64 age group occurred in specific regions. These regions were primarily Asia, the Middle East, and the Pacific. Developing countries often bear a disproportionate burden of DEHP exposure and its consequences. Several factors may contribute to this disparity. These nations might have less stringent environmental and consumer product regulations regarding the use of hazardous chemicals like DEHP. Manufacturing processes may involve higher levels of DEHP, or waste management practices might be less effective in preventing environmental contamination. Economic constraints can also limit access to safer alternatives or advanced healthcare to address DEHP-related illnesses. Biomonitoring studies have indicated variations in DEHP exposure levels among different populations. These findings underscore the complex interplay of social, economic, and environmental factors in determining exposure risk. Section 7. Navigating the maze regulations and management of DEHP. Growing awareness of the health and environmental risks associated with DEHP has prompted regulatory actions in various parts of the world. Governments and international bodies have begun to address the widespread use of this chemical. The primary goal of these regulations is to reduce human exposure, especially for vulnerable populations such as children and pregnant women. Different countries have adopted distinct approaches to managing DEHP. For instance, Canada has classified DEHP as a Schedule I toxic substance under its Canadian Environmental Protection Act. The European Union has implemented more stringent regulations under its REACH framework. In contrast, the United States has had a more fragmented approach. Some individual states within the US have implemented their own, often stricter restrictions on DEHP in various consumer products. There is a clear and pressing need for updated, harmonized global regulations that prioritize public health and environmental protection. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. Section 8. Shifting tides, current trends, and reducing personal exposure. In response to growing health concerns and regulatory pressures, the chemical industry is exploring and gradually shifting towards alternatives to DEHP. Some manufacturers are moving to other types of phthalates, such as longer-chain phthalates, or to entirely different classes of plasticizers. Despite these shifts, the global market for phthalates, including DEHP, has historically been substantial and was projected to continue growing. Individuals can take practical steps to reduce their personal exposure to DEHP. One key strategy is to be mindful of products made from PVC, which often carries the recycling code number 3. When possible, choose alternatives made from other materials like glass, stainless steel, or phthalate-free plastics for food storage and preparation. Reading product labels can also be helpful. Look for items explicitly labeled phthalate-free or DEHP-free. Supporting companies that are transparent about their chemical use and are actively working to phase out harmful substances is another positive step. Section 9. Our path forward: awareness, action, and safer alternatives. In summary, Di-2-ethylhexyl Phthalate, DEHP, is a pervasive synthetic chemical that, while useful for making plastics flexible, poses significant risks. We have seen its widespread presence in everyday items, from food packaging and medical devices to toys and building materials. The health consequences are serious, with links to cardiovascular diseases, hormonal disruptions, metabolic disorders like obesity and diabetes, reproductive problems, and potentially cancer. The cornerstone of addressing the DEHP challenge is increased public awareness. When people understand the risks associated with DEHP and know where it might be found, they are empowered to make more informed choices. This includes decisions about the products they buy, the food they eat, and the environments they live and work in. Education and accessible information are vital tools in this effort. Spreading knowledge about DEHP and other potentially harmful chemicals can drive consumer demand for safer products and encourage industries to innovate and adopt greener chemistry principles. This awareness must translate into concrete action. Individuals can take steps to minimize their personal exposure, as discussed previously. By working together, we can create a future where the benefits of modern materials do not come at the cost of our health or the planet's integrity. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia for more insightful content.